We made this fanny pack a couple years ago, and a lot of people asked if it would ever be available as a kit. Well, now it is. I also made several updates to make it easier to sew while keeping the same sporty look. The kit includes 1 yard of DuraWax Waxed Canvas in the color of your choice. This one right here is called Butterscotch, along with all the hardware, webbing, bungee cord, and zippers that you'll need for the bag. There's enough material and hardware here to make up to 4 bags. Just note there aren't enough zippers for all 4, but you can add extra zippers to your cart separately, which is a good chance to try some different styles, like maybe a metal tooth zipper like I made on this bag. Each bag needs one 8-inch and one 12-inch zipper, and I'll leave all your options linked in the description below. And of course, the kit also comes with the pattern, so let's get into the project. Let's start by pinning that in place and cutting out all the pieces. For this bag, I'll cut the pattern in fabric at the same time. For future projects, you can trace the pattern shapes directly onto your fabric and then cut. While I'm cutting out the pieces, I'll briefly explain why I wanted to revisit this design. When I made one for myself using our old free pattern, I did not have a fun time making it, and the inside looked pretty sloppy. There were a lot of seams and a lot of really bulky areas, which made sewing, especially edge binding, pretty awkward. I disliked it enough that I ended up doing a bunch of testing and made a whole video about edge binding. I'll give you a quick summary of that process later when we get to that step. This new version avoids those problems by having fewer seams and less bulk. I also tweaked the overall shape, the way the strap works, and I made the top zipper open wider so it's easier to grab your things. After the fabric is cut, refer to the note box on the pattern and cut the webbing, grosgrain loops, and bungee cord to length. These webbing measurements will create a bag with an overall length of 36 to 54 inches. So if you want a longer or shorter strap than that, add or remove some length from the longer of the 2 webbing pieces. The wide range of adjustability is nice so that it can be worn around the waist or across the body. Once everything is cut, I like to go ahead and mark the guidelines and fold my hems now to speed things up later. Since we're working with waxed canvas, I'll do all of this with a scratch-all. It marks well on this fabric and there's no ink or chalk to clean off later. I marked the center lines, the grosgrain loop placement on the front panel's bottom piece, the strap tab placement on the back panel, and the grosgrain guideline on the zipper placket pieces. To create the hems, I used a clear acrylic ruler to measure the spacing shown on the pattern. Then score a line with the awl. The fabric folds cleanly over that line and presses down without pins or basting tape. This is a huge perk when working with wax canvas. The front panel, zipper placket, and bottom panels all have hems. The bottom panel gets a 3/8 inch hem and the others are a 1/4 inch. With the prep work done, it's time to start sewing, and the project moves pretty quickly from here. I like to start with the front panel assembly, which has a small zipper pocket and 6 grosgrain loops for the bungee cord. I use some basting tape to keep the loops folded, and clip them in place at each positioning mark with the loops facing inward. Sew a basting stitch on each side to hold them in place. Take the 8-inch zipper and center it vertically between the top and bottom front panel pieces. You can decide if you want the zipper slider to sit on the left or right side when it's closed. I like to put clips on both ends to keep it in place until I can start sewing. You can pin, clip, or just eyeball it as you sew to keep the spacing consistent between the hem and the zipper teeth. I'm sewing this project on the Ultrafeed LSZ, but it can be sewn on any Sailrite machine. I'm using bound, Tex 70 thread and a size 16 needle. I also highly recommend a zipper foot so you can sew close to the zipper teeth and about 1/8 of an inch from the hem. After sewing the zipper, there should be equal space on both sides of the zipper stops. And you'll need to trim some of the zipper tape so it sits flush with the fabric edge. Next, locate the zipper placket pieces and sew in the 12-inch zipper in the exact same way. Double check that the longer pattern piece is on top and the shorter one is on bottom. I think it looks best to put the zipper slider on the same side of the bag as you did for the front pocket, and for me, that's on the right side. Using these finished Lin-Zip zippers was important for me when redesigning this because it makes the process a lot simpler and more fun. Because nobody likes to fool around with zippers more than necessary. After sewing the zipper, trim the tail flush if you haven't already, and grab the 1-inch Grosgrain ribbon. Baste or clip the Grosgrain along the guideline that you marked earlier. If you haven't used this before, it's basically a bag making cheat code. It's a single layer, the edges are finished, and it's strong while staying thin. Instead of hemming this edge and creating a bulky seam later, I'm going to bind it with Grosgrain and join it to the bottom panel with a lap seam later. Next, assemble the strap tabs. To sew them to the 1.5-inch webbing, sandwich the webbing between the fabric pieces so the end of the webbing sticks out from the short side. I like to leave about a 1/2 inch exposed so I can add a reinforcing stitch later. Clip and sew these 3 sides together. I added a pin in the middle to keep the webbing centered as I made my way around. Make sure you do some reversing at the start and end of this seam so it doesn't come apart when you turn it right side out. I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance and I added a bit of extra reversing over the webbing for some strength. Before turning this piece right side out, trim the corners and seal the webbing with a lighter or hot knife if you haven't already. Then flip it right side out, push out the corners, and top stitch around the same 3 sides. Then feel for that webbing tail and sew an extra seam through it to really secure it to the fabric. Then repeat that process for the other strap tab. Once both are done, clip them to the back panel using the pattern guidelines. If you're using a different lining fabric in the future, make sure the primary fabric is facing up when you sew. This is just a basting stitch, but you can do a bit of reversing if you want. I like to fold and clip the webbing slack so it stays out of my way and doesn't get caught in a seam later on. Next, we will sew in the lining pieces for the back, front, and bottom pieces. I started with the back piece since I was already working on it. The lining seam should be hidden within the seam allowance, so sew between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch from the edge. This lining piece is here to add structure, but you could also modify it into an internal slip pocket by hemming the top and leaving that side unsewn. Next, line the front zipper pocket assembly. I used the needle in the left position so I could sew past the zipper stops without worrying about hitting them. The last piece to line is the bottom. This lining is slightly narrower so it fits within the hems, which removes 1 extra layer of bulk. Every little bit helps. Sew along the long sides, but leave the short ends unsewn for now. Then fold the pre-creased hems over that lining and grab the top zipper placket assembly. Position these together so the short sides align on the front and the longer sides align on the back. The front and back are labeled on the pattern if you need to double check. Clip one of the sides in place, making sure the bottom hem covers the Grosgrain edge of the zipper assembly. Sew that lap seam, then repeat that on the other side to complete what I'll call the gusset loop from here on out. Turn the gusset loop inside out and start clipping the front panel in place. Before attaching the front and back panels to this gusset loop, you can fold it in half so that the lap seams meet. This makes a center crease that helps with alignment if you didn't mark it earlier. Make sure the outside surfaces are together, the front panel is right side up with the zipper on top, and the center lines match together. To sew clean corners, you'll need to cut relief slits in the gusset. Cut them 1/4 inch from the edge of the front panel and about 1/4 inch deep, which should match your seam allowance measurement. This lets the fabric turn 90 degrees cleanly as you sew. If you're using a different seam allowance, adjust those measurements accordingly. I pre-cut all 4 slits on this side, but you can also cut them as you go if you want more flexibility, as things can shift about 1/8 of an inch or so as you sew. As you sew, aim to sink the needle just past the cut and at the same depth as the slit. With the needle down, pivot 90 degrees, flatten the fabric out of your way, and continue. I like to add a little reversing in the corners as well for some extra strength. Be mindful of the zipper pull and stops on the front panel as you sew, since you won't be able to see them. It's always safer to take it slow around those areas. Once you've made it all the way around, do a little bit of reversing to finish. Before sewing on the back panel, you can choose which side you want the buckle on by positioning the shorter webbing piece strap on the right or left side. I placed mine on the same side as the zipper pulls. Center and clip that back panel, then use the same relief cut technique. One of my pre-cut slits didn't line up perfectly this time, so I had to make another cut. That's not a big deal though, since it'll be hidden within the seam allowance. Sewing over these strap tabs between these layers is the bulkiest part of this bag, but the Ultrafeed handled it easily. After sewing, trim all the corners, but be careful not to cut into the lines of stitching that you just made. At this point, you have a functional bag, but we've got to do something about those raw edges. So grab the 1-inch Grosgrain from your kit and we'll bind those inside seams. My favorite way to do this is with the swing away binder that you've probably seen installed on the machine this whole time, but I'll show you how to do it first without any special tools. Basting tape doesn't stick well to waxed canvas, so I'll use clips. Position the Grosgrain evenly over the edge and clip it carefully so you catch both sides when sewing. I prefer to work on one side at a time since I haven't found a method I love for doing this in one continuous pass around a corner. So I keep it simple and controlled, doing it one side at a time. Sew so that your needle lands about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the Grosgrain. Once you reach the end, do some reversing and cut the bag free from the roll of Grosgrain. I like to use a hot knife to cut and seal at the same time, but scissors and a lighter work just fine. Now just repeat that 7 more times for the rest of the seams. I did one more seam with clips before switching to the 1-inch swing away binder. I've been practicing with this a lot, and we made a full video recently where I gave a detailed look into how I set it up and some tips and tricks to get the best results. If you're going to sew binding this way, I'd highly suggest you check out that video. I hammered the seam with the strap tabs to compress it enough to fit it through the binder. It was tight, but it fed through with a little help. You can always test the clearance by swinging the binder out and sliding your assembly through it before sewing. When using the binder, position it as close to the presser foot as possible and focus on feeding the fabric so it rides smoothly along the guide. That helps the binding wrap tightly around the fabric without gaps. After all the seams are bound and all the corners are sealed with a hot knife, it's time to turn the bag right side out. And binding is the hardest part of this project, so if you've made it this far, good job. Once it's right side out, push out all the corners and shape it as needed. Now for the finishing touches, installing the hardware and bungee cord. Install the male side of the buckle on the shorter webbing piece. Pass it through the buckle and fold the hem and sew it in place. Then take the longer strap, run it through the strap slide, then through the female side of the buckle, and loop it back through the strap slide. Fold a hem on the end and sew that strap to itself around the center bar on the strap slide. I used a zigzag stitch to make bar tacks, but a straight stitch or two will work just fine. The zigzag is always a great feature to have, but it's not essential for this project. In the very last step, add the cord lock and tie the ends together or knot them individually. And that completes the Sailrite Waxed Canvas Fanny Pack. I think it's a great size for carrying your essentials while hiking, riding your bike, or just taking your dog for a walk. I traveled to Europe last spring and I think it would have been a great travel bag as well. I guess I'll have to go back. I hope you enjoyed this project and learned something along the way. And if you're watching this before buying your kit, it's linked in the description along with all the tools and materials I use. And feel free to ask me any questions in the comments and I'll do my best to help you through your project. Thanks for watching. Go get your kit at Sailrite.com. Then I'll see you back at the intro of this video. See ya.